It's therapy through writing courses. She knows what a special needs child is going through. She knows what the parent is going through. And she leverages that expertise when she's talking about it. Staying consistent in your messaging. This is another way to do this. So staying consistent means sticking with that voice, sticking with that theme, repeating over and over and over again. You don't want to be all over the place, talking to this person, talking to that person. In KC's example, she doesn't want to go out talking all the time to a 70-year-old in that kind of voice, and then start throwing up like the tweet we had earlier about trying to get after a 17-year-old to come into the business. That's probably not her customer, is a 17-year-old. It doesn't mean you're not going to, it doesn't mean you're going to turn away a 17-year-old, but that's not the person, the ideal customer is going to spend more money. So staying consistent in your messaging. Show off your team. This is a way to have the personality in your business too. If you don't have a team and you're a solopreneur, show off the resources at your disposal. I want to pick on David, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
David, tell us real quick what you do.
So I am an amplifier of voice, and it's interesting we're talking about people finding their voices. I'm not finding it here. It took me a while to figure out. I started as a music producer, and now I help others amplify their voice through podcasting, audiobooks, and video. That's what I do.
So I saw something you posted the other day about one of your clients. I think that's in this room. There was something about Mandy. Was that you that posted that?
Yeah. Was it you that posted it? It may have been me.
See, they don't even know they're doing it.
It's just continuous flow.
I thought it was posted by David. I apologize. So what are some ways that you can show off, if not your team, what you have at your disposal?
So at my disposal, I mean, I am admittedly doing a lot of the work myself, and my business is not infinitely scalable, right? Because I'm essentially trading services for stuff for capital. But what was the question?
So how do you show off? Either you don't really have a team; you're a one-man show. Right. So then, how do you show off the resources at your disposal? What resources do you have for your clients that you can show?
So much of it is, it's my own experience, which is just this timeline going backwards, right? Of what I know, what I bring to the present. Ultimately, as the business grows, I will be expanding my team in the form of I have videographers that I work with, so that's one example. Mm-hmm. I have some sound editors that I freelance out to. I have graphics people, so there are some people that.
So you're a big company. You're paying salaries to a sound artist and a.
It's all virtual.
It's all virtual, right. But you can portray that you have your team of this person and this person and this person and this person. So that's something we've actually become pretty good at with the Soul, is portraying that we were this much bigger thing. When I had Just Dine In, one of the most complimentary questions I used to get all the time, but I love people asking is, are you guys a franchise? And I said, no, but thank you, because if we look like a franchise to you, you must think we're a franchise. The best compliment we ever got. But with you and your team, I've met some of your team. We're working together on a project right now, on a video project for the Soul. And you can make yourself appear that much bigger than you are even when you're a solopreneur. Using storytelling, I think I've beaten this one to death today, but using stories in your business. Let's pick on the farmers contingent over there. A lot of times you could talk. I know there's a lot of regulations in your industry. There's a lot of things that you may or may not be able to say, but you can always tell stories. Joseph, you're nodding your head. Can you give me an example of any storytelling you've seen done at farmers?
Yeah, so not too long ago, back in November, we had our F-250 stolen from my family out of the business parking lot in a good part of town. So when customers call in and they have a claim and they say, my car just got stolen, you can tell that story and let them know what happened. Or if they call in and say that the rates are going up, you're like, well, did you know that New Mexico's #1 in the country for auto theft? In fact, our family just got our F-250 stolen a couple weeks ago. So it's things like that that can make you relate and help them know that you understand what they're facing.
So you can align with the customer, they can relate to you. Who here has had a car stolen before? Is it a fun experience? Is it a scary experience? And if you've got someone that can relate to you with a nice story, that makes it that less painful experience. It's our clicker, it's about as good as our microphone. Pay attention to what works. I know this seems kind of redundant, but there's going to be stuff that works. There's going to be stuff that doesn't work. I've had plenty of marketing I've put out of my business that hasn't worked. Why don't you see it all the time? It's because you know what? I tried it, it didn't work, I got rid of it. The stuff that worked, I did over and over and over again. So pay attention to what works, rinse and repeat. And the seventh, something you'll hear me talk about a lot, and I've mentioned earlier, I'm going to go in a little more detail right now, is distributing a monthly newsletter. Now, by distributing a monthly newsletter, I don't necessarily want you to go out there and tell your clients, I have a newsletter. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You can call it an update. There's a realtor in town who is not in this room, so I'm not picking on any of you realtors, don't worry. There's a realtor in town who's not in this room, who I have a lot of respect for, he does really well, but every month I get an email that says, your monthly newsletter is here. Wow, thanks. Do I want to read a real estate newsletter? No offense to the real estate guys and gals in the room. It's not necessarily something that's top of my priority list when I have 50 other emails that I've got to get to. However, there's another realtor, I don't think he's in this room, another realtor that sends me a newsletter every month that says nothing of the sort. It says, the market is picking up, is the title of the email. Like, huh, that's kind of cool. And I go in and start looking at it. And the difference there is you capture attention, just like in any marketing, with a headline or a title, and then bring them into it. So this is the e-newsletter I used to do when I had Just Dine In. This is a copy from 2010. It was the year of the World Cup in South Africa. As you all know, I'm a soccer junkie. Looks like I got my newsletter out late this month. Happy belated Mother's Day. Okay, so I'm a few weeks late, but I was out of town and it took me a little longer to get the newsletter out this month. So again, admitted that I was late, but acknowledged it, just for laughs. A Saudi prince went to Germany to study, and I told a joke. I talk about the World Cup. World Cup begins in 3 weeks. You've heard me reference the World Cup for years now in my newsletter. Well, it's finally here. For those of you who aren't aware, I was raised in England. I'm a huge soccer fan. I had the privilege of going to the last tournament in Germany. It's played every 4 years in a different country, and it goes on and on and on. What the heck does this have to do with food delivery? What does it have to do with catering? What does it have to do with pizza or sushi or Thai food or any of it? Nothing. It is personality. And if you read any of the emails we sent out leading up to this meeting, one of the biggest cases that always sticks out in my head is after I completed a sprint triathlon. Obviously not recently, but I completed a sprint triathlon in 2008. And it was a huge thing for me, and I talked about it in my newsletter. And I had a woman come up to me in the grocery store and said, hey, you completed your first 5K or triathlon or whatever. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm trying to figure out who this woman is. I'm like, she doesn't look familiar. I don't know who she is. Well, it turns out she ordered delivery all the time. I'd never met her because I wasn't the one delivering the food, but she reads my newsletter. And that stood out to her. When she saw me, she associated with me and came out and told me how great it was. I didn't even know her. So there's a lot of ways you can communicate with your fan base, with your customers, your clients, your patients, just through personal things. This is Ringo. He was my golden retriever who passed away in 2004. So what the heck does he have an article in my newsletter in 2010? Well, at the time I didn't have a dog, but I wanted a dog to have an article. So I reincarnated my dog for the newsletter, and I had Ringo's Roundtable. So this month he said, hi, I'm Ringo, Ron's dog. You know, Ron often asks me for my input on monthly newsletters. I'm sure you've heard Ron talking about the World Cup a lot. He can't wait. But what you haven't heard him talking about is the growth that Just Dine In is seeing. I'm so proud of my master for how the business is growing. It's almost ready. He's almost ready to take Just Dine In to another city. So we were just about to expand into El Paso. And he tells the story. So each month, Ringo would sell something for me softly. And he would talk about gift certificates. He would talk about ordering to the office. We always had a battle with how do we get people from the office to order to home. And we tried to battle with how do we get people to order from home to order to the office. So Ringo would talk about it. So I'm not coming out and saying, order delivery now. You're listening to a cute little reincarnated golden retriever tell you to go order now. Yeah. I partnered, collaboration, Kathy, with a personal trainer that I met in this room, Luis Alvidrez, from Upward Motion Personal Training. And we started doing a health nutritional tidbit of the month. And 3 things you must know about lower back pain. So this goes back to the who, and who am I talking to? So Casey, you're talking to the 70-year-old that likes to drink a couple beers. My clients were typically women, mainly because women make the meal decision in the family. Being married now for 2 years, and I wouldn't make all decisions in the family, but they definitely make the meal decision in the family. And oftentimes at the office, and I was marketing to people at their home and people at their office. At the office, it was usually the administrator who was responsible for ordering the food. And that administrator, 9 times out of 10, was female. So we knew my customer was female. And we knew my main core customer was the admin at the office that was tasked with all this work every single day that they got dumped on. So how do we take someone that's in that office environment and entertain them a little bit? And that's all this was. There was hardly anything about food. There was a trivia question, win a $25 gift certificate. To where? To Just Dine In. So you have to use my service to use it. But every single month, I would get between 50 and 70 people respond to this trivia question. So this one, and it was always something you can easily Google. So you can Google any of these and just find the answer and then send it in. I didn't care that you guessed, you cheated and got the answer. I wanted you to respond because that meant engagement. So what year did England win the only World Cup title? And the answer was D. You have to email your answer to trivia at Just Dine In. I just went to GoDaddy and bought an email address for $2 and forwarded it to my email. And each month I'd get 50 to 70 emails. As soon as I got the email, hey, thanks for your guest, blah, blah, blah. How are things over at Bradbury Stamp Construction? How are things over at Bohannon Custom Engineering? And then I would start to develop leads from these emails. So it was a simple way to get people that were my target customer sending an email right into me for nothing to do with my business, and then I could turn it around to them and say, what are you ordering food for? When's the next meeting that you need food? Let me bring out food to the office. And then I would always have a call to action. So this was a new restaurant that we had called Napa Valley Cafe, which unfortunately has since closed. This was penny delivery from Napa Valley Cafe. So there was an offer here, it had a coupon code, and we would always get between 12 and 15% redemption on these coupon codes. We would track all of them. So then how do we grow the list and get more people receiving our newsletter? So when people ordered, if they ordered on the phone, we asked them for their email. If they ordered online, they would have to put in their email address to place the order and create a login. And then it was just a checkbox that was already checked. If they unchecked the box, I didn't get to email them. But if they just left it, which most of them did, I was able to email to them. So because we were delivering usually to their office or their